Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. I'm really glad to have you guys all here. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers for subscribing. I really appreciate you guys. Without you, this channel wouldn't have grown. And yeah, it's not growing as fast as I would like it, but I think as long as you're passionate about something and as long as you just keep on going without giving up, eventually, sooner or later, this thing will come, right? So the audience will come. Of course, with my content and with my videos, I think I have a lot of important information to to convey, basically, right? And so I obviously want as many people as possible to get the word, and to receive the messages, because I do believe that they're very important, and so. And so yeah, of course I'm very happy when you guys subscribe, and I'm really happy when you're commenting and when you're engaging with my content. I would love to build a community of people, that are like-minded, and even people that are not so like-minded, because it never hurts to kind of learn from all kinds of different perspectives, right? Even if you kind of don't agree, right? At the end of the day, we should all discover our own truth. And I think that's important for everyone. We shouldn't be fixated on just one thing, right? Even if we don't agree with someone, we should still hear it out, and then make the necessary adjustments, right? Or adapt and adjust accordingly, right? Sometimes our beliefs they're not always going to be accurate, so we should always reassess every once in a while, and act accordingly, right? And so yeah, there's that, right? Anyways, but today in this video, okay, I wanted to discuss something, guys. I wanted to discuss how patience is a virtue. Patience is extremely important, and that's definitely one of the qualities that I had to develop. As you know, when you plant a seed, the harvest doesn't come right away. It comes after a long time sometimes, right? And so it takes a while for the seed to sprout and for the roots to start growing, and for the seed to start growing out, right? And then eventually reaping fruit. And so more often than not, that's how it works when it comes to spirituality, and your labor, be it emotional labor or healing. Everything takes time. And it's important to recognize that. It's important to recognize that sometimes, for example, in order to get certain things that we would like, my cat just lowered the phone. Hey, psst. Stop. Anyway, so it's important to be patient, to practice patience, and to not run ahead of yourself. And also, it's very important to listen to your intuition and listen to God, and to develop that relationship with God, so you can hear Him, right? One lady that I follow, she suggested practicing this, right? And it doesn't have to be really anything formal. You can just go to bed, or before going to bed, you can just become still and silent, right? And just ask God questions, and pretend like God is with you, maybe on the side of the bed or something, right? And then ask Him questions and listen to the answers that you'll get. And so it's one way to kind of get in tune with our source, and develop that personal relationship with Him. It doesn't have to be in the church. It doesn't have to be anything formal. It can be something like that, okay? And so I thought it was a really good idea, and I myself want to try that. Although sometimes I practice like meditation, right? And I haven't done it in a while, but I just kind of I like the feeling that I get from meditating, from just sitting still. And once again, by sitting still and just closing your eyes, you can tune in into the unseen, and you can start getting downloads, okay? I often get downloads, including for this video, just by sitting still, just by, like, for example, washing the dishes. I don't know why, but it's really weird. But I often get downloads of information when I wash the dishes or when I start working out, okay? So once again, you have to be present in order to receive this information. And yes, this conscious presence will allow you to hear your inner thoughts, or God, right? And so this is just one way of doing it. But anyways, guys, so let me just tell you, I'll give you a couple of examples in this video that have happened to me, okay? And I will let you know how, sometimes if you jump ahead of, getting to that destination, it will simply be more painful, okay, than it was supposed to be. It will be more painful. You will experience more stress. You will experience more stress than necessary. You will, you will experience more difficulties than you were supposed to experience, okay? If you would have listened to your intuition, to source, to God, right? And actually followed through and was still. Sometimes we simply need to be still. Sometimes the work was already put in. Sometimes you already sowed the seeds, right? There's a season, guys, for doing, and there's a season for waiting and for being patient. And more often than not, if the ego is involved, you're going to want it now, right? We're living in a society where we want everything yesterday, right? And that's not how things work on God's timing, okay? Yeah, our ego might want, fast results, right? But it doesn't work like this. More often than not, like I said, right, the seed, if you already planted the seed and you already did the deed, if you already did what God called you to do, and because faith without works is dead, right? So you still have to do the work, right? You can't just sit there and expect, I don't know, my mom was a good example of that, although my mom was also very hardworking too. So I can't say, in one sense she was hardworking, but in another she wasn't, right? And so I bring up my mom a lot on my channel is because, well, guys, you can learn from this. You can learn from my experience with my mom, right? And she, on one hand, she was hardworking, but on the other hand, fear, her inability to believe in herself, really, really held her back from being exceptional and from getting out of even bad situations that she was in, so because she didn't think she deserved it or that she could do it, so that's one thing, right? Wait, where's the, oh, okay. I want to make sure I'm looking at the camera. Anyway, so you can be ambitious, right? And but your ambition can only get you so far, right? And so being ambitious is not, guys, trust me, I know this, right? Well, first of all, being ambitious, if you're unhealed, is not necessarily going to get you the results that you're looking for, okay? And also it will get you burnt out eventually, okay? Because, well, first of all, if you don't heal, right? If you're ambitious and you haven't healed, you're going to be working a lot harder than necessary, okay, and not necessarily smarter, or you won't go after the right opportunities also, okay, because when you haven't healed yet, that means you don't fully believe what you're worth, okay, so, and you're worth a lot more, right, and so you're not going to value your skills, you're not going to value your time, right, and so you're going to be grinding away, when really you don't necessarily even have to, okay, so there's that, right, and also of course ambition also, it's not necessarily good, because once again you're relying completely on yourself, okay, you're relying on yourself and you're not necessarily going after what God intended for you personally. You're not going after the things that you're not necessarily following your purpose, okay, and so you're bound to get very burnt out, once again exhausted, right, and you're bound to get disappointed in your results too. You're bound to lose your health in the process, right, and really hurt yourself, and you might not even see the results that you would like. So grinding away and pushing, thinking that you're alone in this, and everything is on your shoulders, right, that's not a good way to go about it, okay, so you have to realize that um, it, we're not going to discuss God, but yes, of course, it is ultimately God too, and your spiritual team, right, or that which you do not see physically in your flesh, okay, but and time again in my personal experiences, I have seen this in action. And so I'm speaking from personal experience about this, right? And so of course, uh, you know, and so when it comes to grinding it out, right, and working, as long as you're once again listening to your intuition about what it is that you need to be working on, and then dropping the rest. When the work is done, you can rest, you can let go, and you can allow, right, and so that's where the results will come in, right, too, and all of your blessings too, right, blessings from God. It's kind of like this, right? You need to do the work, right? You need to do the act. You need to take action, deliberate action, in order to get what you want. And then you need to let go and let God do the rest, right? You're going to be attracting you. God will bring you the clients, basically, right? And so, or customers, right? Or people that will be interested in your products or services, right? And so, yeah, as long as it's working for the greater good, you're going to see the results sooner or later. It is all about God's timing, right? And so it's not about killing yourself, in the process, right? And grinding it out and thinking that you always have to push, right? It's this masculine energy where you have to push push as hard as you can and knock on all the doors, right? And just like take them down if they, if they're not open, right? That's one way of looking at it, but this is not a good way. It doesn't have a balance. And sooner or later, God doesn't want you to kill yourself, right? God doesn't want you to sacrifice your health and your soul in the process, to sell your soul in order to make money, right? Or to maintain or sustain your living, right? God wants you to have that balance, right? And so that balance only comes from working and then allowing and becoming magnetic and attractive, right? And because when you let go, when you release, when you open up, when you allow God to do the work, you become this is kind of like going into your feminine energy, right? And we have both masculine and feminine energy. So when you allow, when you let go, when you let go of the control, let go of ego, you become attractive, you become magnetic too. So you open the door, right? You allow for God's manifestations to come in, right? You allow God to do the work and eventually to attract, whatever it is that you were working really hard for, right? And so there's that, right, guys? But anyways, so of course I will give you an example when I didn't do that. Okay, I was in Bulgaria at the time. Okay, and so I was already pregnant, right? And I spent a little bit of time, most of the time I spent in the UK while I was pregnant. And so I was working, like hustling hard. I still believed in that, right? My mindset was still very much all about grinding. I had to work very, very hard in order to get the money, right? So I had like a couple of jobs, okay? I was doing all kinds of different things in real estate, so I got to see the UK, which was really interesting. I got to see some places over there, okay? And I was like a real estate inspector, okay? So I inspected the real estate. It was a pretty easy job. You had to be very detail oriented. And you guys, I did so many different jobs in the past, okay? And that was one of them. And that's because I also did real estate in San Francisco, although it was just like commercial real estate. I'm sorry, not commercial, residential real estate, where I just showed different places, right? To people that wanted to move in, that wanted to rent, basically, right? But so I had experience in that, and so I decided to do something similar in the UK, right? And so I lived and worked in the UK, although I traveled to Bulgaria I traveled back when I felt like I needed a rest. So I wanted to finish my book too, and so I traveled back to Bulgaria, right? And you guys, I decided I was running out of money basically in Bulgaria, right? And I was thinking, oh my goodness, like I really need to find work, right? And so I started looking for online work, although with no luck, right? And so I was thinking like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do, how am I going to make it, right? And so what ended up happening is that I didn't wait on God. I wasn't patient, okay? I put in a lot of work, guys. I submitted so many different applications. And I was like, come on, like what's going on? I need to do something, right? And of course there weren't as many opportunities available in Bulgaria. I mean, maybe there were, right? But I wasn't looking for them because, well, first of all, I don't speak Bulgarian, right? I didn't speak Bulgarian, and I couldn't work in Bulgaria, right? So I didn't want to work in Bulgaria physically because, for many different reasons, right? But anyway, so I wanted to go to the UK, right, and work there. And so I was like, what can I do, right? And so what I ended up doing was I ended up getting a job in healthcare, okay? Not healthcare. I became like a personal, like a care assistant, right? And so like it was a job at a like a very exclusive, high-end, home care, basically, okay, for elderly people, right? And so I didn't have to do that, guys. I didn't have to get that job, okay? If only I waited. If only I waited, right? My experience with that job, guys, it wasn't very good, to be honest with you, okay? I really didn't like the job. Although I did learn a lot from it too, and I might talk about it in the next video, okay? My eyes were open to a lot of things that were going on in the even in the high-end, expensive, caretaking house, right? And so I got to see how the people there were treated, and which was not good, guys, believe it or not. A lot of them were abused. A lot of patients there or elderly there complained about being abused, and I've seen it personally, how they were handled, and it was just disgusting to me, guys. People there, of course, the workers were very demonic, had a very, were very low vibrational, and of course I was attacked too, but at the same time I got to experience that kind of job. And the reason why I wanted to work there is because I wanted to also see how I was really thinking about going into nursing still, right? And I kept on coming back to that idea. But I'm glad that I didn't go into nursing because, yeah, for many different reasons, basically, right? But I got to see, what the nurses were doing there, and to be honest with you, their jobs were very boring. They were very unfulfilling, or that's what they felt like or looked like. And so my eyes were opened to a lot of information and new things that perhaps they weren't that bad. And I think, I was, yeah. And so it wasn't necessarily a terrible experience when it came to like knowledge and just, gaining a different perspective about things, right? So I don't regret that. But guys, it was unnecessary because after a little bit of time, okay, guess what happened? My mom called, right, at that time. And that was a long time ago, right? But my mom called me, okay, and she was still alive, right? And she was like, hey, I'm planning on selling our apartment, right, in Boca Raton, right? We had an apartment in Boca Raton. And, and she just, she wanted to give me like a little chunk of money, right? And guys, to be honest with you, now that I look back, it was our apartment that belonged to both of us, right? And she only gave me back like like not even 10% of the sale of that apartment. She ended up keeping the rest of the money, which was a pretty good portion of money because, well, it was in Boca Raton, guys, and you guys know the real estate prices in like Florida now, right, in Boca Raton. So anyways, she ended up basically cheating me out of my money, but at the same time, it was also a huge blessing to me, no matter, how much she gave me, right, back from that sale, right? I think she just wanted me to sign off on it, and that's it. And that's the reason why, but at the same time, it was a huge blessing from God, and it came in divine timing, guys, right? And at that time, I really needed the money, and I just quit my job there, right, in the home care. I couldn't work there for too much longer, okay? I just worked there for maybe like a month, or I think, or maybe two, if that. And so I was looking for something else, right? And so that blessing came in divine timing, okay? And yeah, so guys, one thing that I will let you know about, okay, is that another thing, right, is that just because you might be able to sense that something is brewing, if you're a very sensitive person, you will sense that something big is coming, okay? And how you can also notify, what will happen when that happens, right? When you're in alignment, usually, right? And in that receptive mode, that feminine energy, right? You're going to shine. It's going to be very felt. So you might start getting attacked, okay? The enemy knows that you're about to receive something big, and so they might start attacking you. You're gonna get attacked from all different people. The demonic people will start, like for example, I go to this place where I buy really delicious cookies, right? And we're really good clients, right? And we're very friendly, like me and my son would go there just to get some cookies. And this lady, right, we were about to just, their building, right, is like, it's like a little coffee shop, and they have a bathroom, right? And it's in the hotel, right? I believe everything belongs to them, right? So they're the owners of the bakery and the hotel. And so I was about to use the bathroom. The lady came out with this angry face, and she's like, "Where do you think you're going?" And I was like, "To the bathroom." And I said, "Are we not allowed to use the bathroom?" And she's like, "No." And I said, "But why? We're your customers. We come to you all the time, And she was like, "Because you can't." And I said, "Well, okay, that's fine." And I just I just thought to myself, well, okay, that's really stupid business, if you don't treat your customers right, then they won't come back. And I told her, well, lady, I'm sorry, we won't come back to you anymore, and so yeah. And she kind of like by being mean and unkind, right, I mean, of course it was her right to refuse for me to go to the bathroom, right? But I asked her very nicely and she still said no, and so she was very defensive. She seemed really angry too, so it's kind of like attacks like this, right? And so you will get a lot of those, like people will start getting mean and being rude, for no reason. Like you're not in your ego, you can ask people nicely, but still you will get a lot of like attacks, and so maybe a lot of mean stares also, so it's things like this, right? A lot of opportunities or a lot of maybe the clients that you've had will also start dropping off, and so you will notice that too, because their frequency is no longer kind of in alignment, right? And so when you're in alignment, a lot of things that weren't aligned, people, places, things, they start dropping off too. So you will start experiencing a loss before that breakthrough comes, right? And so guys, it also kind of works like this too, right? Sometimes physically, right, speaking, when it comes to fat loss, for example, right? Fat loss, sometimes, okay, you might be losing fat, right? But when you actually step on a scale, right, you do not see the results, right? The scale might not be changing, right? And you might be stuck at a scale, right? Or you might be stuck at the same weight for an extended period of time, like 2, 3, 4 weeks even, right? Without seeing too many changes, okay? Guys, but it doesn't mean that you're not losing fat on the inside, okay? What might be happening, right, even if you don't see it yet, okay, is the swoosh effect, okay? Swoosh effect is actually when the fat cells, right, you lose the fat cells and they get filled with water, okay? So they get replaced with water instead of fat now, right? And so you are losing fat, which is amazing, right? Only your fat cells, because they're filled with water, you're not seeing the changes on the weight scale, okay? And so you're like, what is going on? At that point, a lot of people might give up, right? But if you just have patience and you keep on going and trusting the process, right, then you will experience a swoosh effect, okay? The swoosh effect is when your cells, okay, suddenly release water, okay, your fat cells release water, right? And bam, you might end up dropping like 10 pounds or something right away, okay? And so that's, same thing happens in your body, right? Your body, I noticed that a lot of things outside, right, in the environment, in nature, and even in our bodies physically, they align also with what is happening spiritually. A lot of times we do not see what is going on behind the scenes in the spiritual realm, but it doesn't mean that it is not going to be felt, especially by others and even by you, right? And once again, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. So chosen ones, God's people, just have some patience. Good things are coming, okay? Good things are coming, and you will experience a breakthrough, okay? You might want to give up, right? Just like with your fat loss journey, when you're not seeing the results, when you've busted your booty, right? And nothing is coming, nothing seems to be happening. Just have some more patience. Have some more patience, and you will finally see the results. You will finally experience that breakthrough. You'll get blessings after blessings after blessings after blessings, okay? Just believe that it's coming, be open to it, and let go. Allow. Your job sometimes is to let go of control and your ego, right? And to allow for amazing things to come into your life, okay? And that's sometimes also the hardest thing to do, also because we always want to control. Some of us are much worse at this than others, right? Myself included, and this is your test too, it's a test of patience, and it's a test of belief and trust that your blessings are coming. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't signed up for hypnotherapy session, please do so, guys. I give amazing hypnotherapy sessions. The people that have tried them in the past, they absolutely love them, okay? if you need healing, if you want to remove money blocks, right, that tends to happen too, right? Because in order to receive what you deserve, what you desire, you also have to believe. You have to sometimes work on your subconscious beliefs about money, right, and about what you're worth, right? And so that's why I got into hypnotherapy too, is to help you, you know, remove those blocks, remove those negative thoughts that were instilled in you from childhood, most likely, right? And so if you guys want to sign up for a hypnotherapy session, please do so. The consultations are free, okay? So we'll do a consultation and we can go from there, okay? Also check out my books, guys. I have a healing guide book, okay? And that's the one that I wrote in Bulgaria. And I think you'll really love it too, okay? Check it out on Amazon. And also I have children's books, okay? So if you have children, I have a book that teaches healthy morals and values with amazing pictures. And you can also get it for cheaper, okay? If you don't have the means to get the physical book, you can also get the digital book, okay? So there's an option for that too, okay? So guys, thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for more videos, okay? Much love to you.